Welcome to the Collector's Archive. I am the Vault Keeper. Identify.
Hello everybody, I'm Simon, Transformers UK Collector.
Identity confirmed. Access granted. Switching to human interface.
Funny. I ended up having to do introduction with him again next day on like Saturday morning. Right, that'll do. Right, there we go. Hi Simon, how are we doing?
How you doing, Ed?
Not too bad yourself?
I'm okay. It's been a strange week and a stressful week, but yeah, it's okay now.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, I know we'd been speaking and you told me all about that, but I'm glad that stuff's all okay now. I mean, to be fair, it's not that long since we've chatted anyway, because we do tend to chat quite frequently anyway, whether it's over Instagram chat and stuff. So
yeah,
it's just like it just feels like a bit of a normal catch up. It's really, doesn't it?
Weekly, and it's a weekly thing.
So I'll hit you with the questions. I mean, you got the list that I sent you through anyway, and that. So done your revision, and we'll see how we get on.
Yeah.
So first thing, tell us a brief bit about yourself and where you grew up. You grew up. Sorry.
I grew up in the Midlands, the West Midlands, in a town called Kidderminster. Pretty normal childhood. Grew up in the 80s, like all of us, and still a big fan, as you know, of the 80s toys. Started off my Instagram page, like most of us did during lockdown, when we had nothing to do, and everything took off from there, really.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, I've seen you. I mean, it's done really well as your Instagram page, and I've seen your reels and your stories, and you put them on YouTube as well, don't you? You upload all.
I started to, yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm more Instagram than YouTube. Yeah, it was something that my son said to do. My wife set up an Instagram page, and I honestly, I just did it as just a thing to do when I was bored during lockdown, and I thought maybe I'll get a few followers. I'll put some pictures on. It was basically like just a record of my collection, and within a few days, it just ramped up, and I just carried on going with it, and yeah, it's done really well.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of people did the same thing. I know I was talking with Russ the other day from Toys R Us, and he was the same. He started doing it during lockdown, and it's just so I think there's quite a few that's done that, and I think it's proved popular for them. It's some really good stuff. So I suppose we'll sort of like go back in time and dredge through your past and that, and if you might want to tell us the what toys you played with as a child. What were the toys you had laid on the rug in front of the fire and in front of the telly?
I started with, as you know, is Action Force, and I'm talking the original Palitoy.
Yeah,
Action Force and GoBots before Transformers. That was my introduction into toys. And then, as you know, 85 was the year I started collecting Transformers. Zoids as well. I had a few Masters of the Universe figures, but that was it. It was mainly them. It was mainly Action Force, GoBots, Transformers, and Zoids.
Right. Yeah. It's sorry, I'm just. You'd think now I think this is third or fourth one I've done now. You think I'd know these questions and that, but I still keep having to look at my notes here, and I phase out a bit. But so yeah. I mean, I know we've spoken. I mean, it's the Transformers thing, but what I like as well is, and you put on the site, is the GoBot stuff. I mean, I was the same. I think initially, thinking back when I started, I had more GoBots at one point than I did Transformers.
Yeah, I think I certainly had a lot of the smaller ones, the Super GoBots, not so much. No. Mainly because they were just cheaper.
Yeah,
they were like £1.50 pocket money toys, where compared to a mini Autobot was probably £3. I can't remember,
Yeah.
2 or 3 quid. Where a GoBot was, some of them were like 99p.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
in Woolies in a sale, so it was just pocket money. But yeah, I definitely had more GoBots at the start. Not so
Yeah.
much now, but back then,
No.
yeah.
Yeah, but it was a weird thing because I can recall, not in all toy shops, but in some toy shops that I used to go in as a kid, there did seem to be more GoBots on the shelves than what there were Transformers. Now, whether or not that's because they weren't selling or they just had more stock than the Transformers, I don't know. But
Yeah, they seem to sell them in like even in newsagents on
Yeah.
like a stand. Transformers they never did, but in my local newsagents they did have. They had them on sale there on like a stand.
yeah, which I don't think Hasbro would have liked that with their brands or something, you know.
Yeah,
But,
with a toy.
Yeah, but no, the Super GoBots. Now, I think I only had 2 Super GoBots. There was Spacey,
Yeah.
which was the shuttle, which that was my stand-in initially for Jetfire until I got Jetfire.
Yeah.
And I don't know his name. It was the tank, the green tank.
Oh, I can't remember what he was called. I know who you mean.
Yeah.
I mean, I only had Psykill, Leader 1 and Warpath.
Right.
Which
Oh,
is the
Warpath.
The Apache.
Yeah, that was the
Elephant.
Apache. Yeah, that was nice. Was that I liked? I had the smaller one of that, but
Yeah,
not the big
wrong
one.
way.
Is that what he was called? Wrong way.
Yeah.
Right. But the tank, I remember the tank. That were pretty cool because the gun barrel that attached to his arm like Megatron
Yes.
when
Yeah,
he was in
did.
robot mode. And that were pretty cool with that. And then this lad that I used to know that lived on our street, he nicked the rubber tracks off it, and I never got them back. So, these things happen.
Yeah.
Happen. So you've got these toys. You've got your Zoids, you've got your Transformers, you've got your GoBots, and your He-Man figures. What's your favourite? Which is your favourite one as a kid?
Isn't toy brand or actual toy?
It's either. I mean, a toy brand, and then what was your favourite figure? Figure or toy?
Ultimately, it was Transformers that won.
Yeah.
That won out on that one. Favorite toy? Oh, that's a tough one. Favorite toy? If I was to pick, it'd have to be a Transformer. It would have to be Metroplex.
Right.
It was one that I really do remember of '86 that I really did want, and I remember flying down the stairs Christmas morning, and I knew the size of the box. I knew that's what it was. I just remember destroying the box and
right.
And it just great memories of that Christmas.
Cardboard and polystyrene everywhere.
I was quite, I think I destroyed some of the polystyrene. I've still got the box. So, that Christmas I had Metroplex, Rodimus, Cyclonus. So, that was a real good Christmas. '86, I think, was a good year for Transformers. It was for me. It's when it was with the movie and everything.
Santa was very kind that year.
He was. Mum, I mean, you don't think of it, but looking back, I speak to Mum and Dad about it, and they worked hard to save up for that for us for Christmas. And as a kid, you think Santa's brought it, but you don't realise what your parents did and where they had to go. I mean, like my mum said, the Christmas '85, Mum and Dad travelled everywhere to get Optimus Prime, but he was just completely sold out. Like a lot of us, it was the must-have present of '84 and '85, and sadly, my mum said it broke her heart. She just couldn't get it anyway.
So we've got your favourite toy. You're there playing with it. What are you watching? What cartoons you're watching? What films? What TV shows? What kind of things going off that in that respect?
I mean, I don't know about anybody else. I didn't see much of Transformers at all.
No.
Cartoon-wise, I was always the comic. I just didn't see it. I didn't see anything on the TV of Transformers bar like the 5-minute chunks that you used to get on Wackaday. Nothing of series 2 or 3. I don't remember. I mainly watched what was on when we got back from school, which was Jason the Wheeled Warriors. I remember seeing a lot of Thundercats.
Yeah.
I did see Masters of the Universe. I don't remember vaguely remember GoBots being on the TV. Cities of Gold,
Yeah.
Phileas Fox Around the World, and all that sort of stuff. All what we used to watch.
Dogtanian, the Musker Hounds.
D'Artagnan, yeah, that one, and Dungeons and Dragons as well.
Yeah, yeah. The dangerous thing about that question is when people are telling me, their experiences and their answers, all the theme tunes just start going round in my head.
Now the one that I used to absolutely love, and I know they're doing them now, but I wish they did toys back then. I used to love Starfleet.
Yeah,
I absolutely adored Starfleet, and there was no toys.
No, well, not over here anyway. There was very few. I think they were mainly sort of like gumball kits and things like that over in Japan for it. But yeah, I were a big Starfleet fan, and all the ones that you mentioned there, Cities of Gold, Dogtanian, and Dungeons and Dragons, Jace, Wheel Warriors. But like you, Transformers, saw very little of it. Bits of the first season, and like yourself, it was mainly the Marvel UK comics. That was the one. So, right. So you're watching your programs, you're playing with your toys, but obviously, like everything, time moves on. So can you, do you have any memories of, that phase or period when you were coming out of, the playing with toys or buying, getting toys and things like that and playing in that, and you were moving on? Is there a memory of a last toy you got, or a last thing, or it's a game or model or kit or anything like that?
There was a very strong memory for I think it was my 12th birthday, and it was the last two Transformers I had. It was waning anyway to me, and I think the toy line was probably waning.
Right.
And I had Sea-Wing and Guzzle,
right,
and I remember opening them up. Sorry, and I remember thinking, I'm too old for these.
right.
I actually remember it, and that's probably why in my collection they were probably still mint condition, because I think I opened them and never played with them.
Right.
And looking back, it's quite a sad time. You don't realise it, but that was until that toy box never saw light of day until 2003.
Right. Well, let's brine it up then. So can you remember then when you started collecting again, and what it was that actually drew you back in?
I don't know what it was. It was about 2000, and I tell you what it was. I had a Dreamcast.
Right.
And it was my first introduction to get onto the internet.
Right.
And the first thing I typed in was Transformers.
Yeah.
And there was a very, I wouldn't say crude, but a very plain Transformers website. I can't remember what it was. And there was people putting comments, and it was just like search eBay, and I discovered eBay.
Yeah.
And I think I bought Scrapper. It was mint. I mean, this is before knockoffs, so you knew it was genuine. And I bought Scrapper. It was absolutely mint on card for 20 quid.
Right.
And I bought a few mini bots for like 50p. I bought Cosmos for 50p.
Right.
Things like that, and Beachcomber. No one cared or bothered back then. Really, it was in its infancy, wasn't it? The internet really for like the average person. So I picked up little bits and pieces, but I didn't really start collecting again until like most of us 2002, 2003, when the Toys R Us reissues came out, and then that was it.
Yeah. Can you remember what did you pick any up from Toys R Us?
Yeah, I picked up the lot. I picked up Optimus, Starscream. I think he was called Rodimus Major, then Hot Rod was.
Yes. Yeah, it was.
And I picked up Ultra Magnus.
Yeah. He's resplendent with the stubby smokestacks.
Yeah, and the great big missiles on Ultra Magnus. It was just like
it's like no. I wonder if anyone cut them down. You know, just to
Yeah, I can
pop
see
in.
why I would have done it, but I think I kept him in tin box, and I think I sold him. I
Yeah,
sold him.
yeah. I was the same. I did the same. I went to. I used to go to Toys R Us with a friend of mine, and yeah, it was just like, right, yeah, I'll have that. I'll have that, because they were quite sensibly priced as well back then. You
Yeah,
know, I mean,
they were pretty reasonable.
yeah, you know, and it's what, I suppose it's 20 years ago. You know, you just don't realize, do you?
No, I mean
How quick
that
that's gone.
that Optimus was the first Optimus I ever got. Was that Toys R Us reissue?
Yeah,
So
right.
I had to wait 20 years to get him.
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
him.
yeah. So, well, you've answered that next question, because it was going to be, you know, what toy it was. I still can't get over 50p for Cosmos. It's like,
Yeah, it was 50p, 50p, and you had to send postal orders
right.
because there was no PayPal. You had to
Yeah,
send off the postal
yeah,
order and then wait, and then he'd cash it in. Then you'd have to wait for it to be sent out in this
yeah,
little box.
yeah. Or send him a check or
Or
something
check
like
it.
that. Yeah, yeah. Oh wait, one of the early sites I remember. I mean, it's not going any. Well, it is, but it's not called this anymore. But it was called Skywarp.co.uk,
I
and
think I vaguely remember.
it was run like by a chap called Morgan, and that was one of the early ones. And I picked up some of my Mexican Transformers from him off that website, and my Seekers, you know, my Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp. But it's still on. They call it Wayback Machine or something on the internet, and you can still
Yeah,
view it. It's still there, you know. It's but yeah, that was an early one, was that? But there was another one, Hobby Link. I think it was Japan.
Hobby Link. Yeah,
That's
Hobby
been
Link.
going a long time.
I used to
Uh,
use Zyber toys. I used to use.
Cyber Toys, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
what I used
heard
to
of
get
that one.
mine.
Is that still going, or is that gone
No,
now?
I think that's gone now. But yeah, Zyber toys. Oh God, there was another
Yeah.
one I used to use, and I can't remember for the life of me what it was called.
Sorry, I'm just going to write that down, because I was chatting with someone the other day trying to remember old websites that we used to get stuff from, and there were one I
Yeah,
couldn't remember the name from, and that's it.
XYBER toys.
Yeah. I'll see if that's on Wayback Machine. That'll be interesting to have a look at. Stab myself with my pen there. Ah, well, don't worry. Right. Where are we? Right. Okay. Yeah. So you're back into it. You're collecting stuff. So what's shaping your collecting now? You know, what's your motivations behind, you know, your collection?
It's just G1 for me now.
Yeah.
I've channeled it into the ones that I'm completing subgroups. Like I've finished collecting the Dinobots. You know, you finished collecting the 84 cars, jump starters. You know, things like that. That is what I'm achieving to do, which I've mostly got now.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not going down the masterpiece or third party route and things like that.
I've got a few of the masterpieces. But one is they're just too expensive. Really, they're just a ridiculous price.
Yeah.
And Owen doesn't really collect the Legacy or War for Cybertron. Again, I think Hasbro are just vastly overpricing, and I don't think the quality's that good in them, to be honest. And I don't know what people think, but I've also thought that the transformations just do me head in. And I get stuck sometimes, whether it's just me, and I have to look on YouTube to find out how to transform it. You know, for us in the playground, it was done.
Yeah.
The kids in the playground now would get them, and by the time the playtime was over, it would go and the bell, and you'd have to go back in.
Yeah.
So I don't. I mean, don't get me wrong; they're good figures. They're better renditions of like what we had, and they look like the cartoon. But for me, I've got no attachment to them.
No.
There's no attachment for me in them. They're great toys, but for me, it's G1. I'm too G1 hardcore at the moment.
Yeah. No, I can appreciate that. I mean, my son went through a phase of having a couple. He was never really that interested, like his old man. And I never tried to, I didn't try and persuade him otherwise. I thought I'd just let him find his own way and do what he does. But he'd picked up a few. I mean, he had. I think I took some photos of it the other week. It's Snapdragon, the triple changer Headmaster, and it's a lovely thing. It's not a bad figure. I was quite impressed with it. I was impressed with that one that you did a while back. The Studio Series Sludge, was it?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good. Yeah, I mean, some of them are. Those are really good figures.
Yeah.
Owen loves them, but it's strange because Alfie, my youngest, is getting into them. He's just watched Owen play with them, and I've got the G1, and I've got the 35th anniversary Siege version, and a couple of the other versions of Prime. But Owen and Alfie, every single time, will pick the G1.
Right.
You've got all these modern versions of him. They still go back to that toy that we used to have. I don't know what it is about that toy.
And which figure is it?
The G1 Prime. They always go for the G1 Prime every time.
I think it's such an iconic design. I think there's an aura about it. I think that just that draws people to it. Whether or not it's the color or whether it's just the shape or what, I don't know. But there is definitely something about it. I got the New Age Ymir or Ymir, their version of Grimlock, and it's a fantastic figure. And it's give or take, it's roughly the same size as G1 Grimlock, but the detail and articulation on it is it's amazing.
Oh yeah, they're fantastic.
But I put them side to side, and I'm still drawn to G1 Grimlock. It's like because I think it's because there's that emotional connection to it, know. But no, yes, oh no. So I mean, so the focus on G1 then is that absolute. I mean, is there other things that you collectors or you might pick up if you see something to go along, that's not Transformer related?
No, not anymore.
No.
I picked
what about the Action Force stuff? Have you?
That's a lie. Yeah, there's a few of the Action Force as well, which I pick up, which I didn't have if they're at a reasonable price. And I had a few of the Masters of the Universe Origin figures, which were pretty good. But no, you're right. Yeah, actually, Action Force as well. Yeah, if there's a vintage one that's at a reasonable price that I didn't have, or I'd like to get, that I'd like to get Red Jackal back.
Yeah.
And the Hyena tank. So that's something that eventually in the future I'd like to get. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I suppose you could cheat and pick a Destro up and just paint it.
I could do, but it's just like it's a bit like sacrilege painting a.
I don't know. It'd certainly be a cheaper option. I mean, Red Jackal is just a silly price. I was on eBay the other day, and someone was listing just a red laser, just the figure that goes with the laser exterminator, and they were listing at £150 just for the figure.
And I gave them away to my neighbour.
Yeah.
I just don't think they did at the time. You would never have guessed or thought that an Action Force figure, mass produced, would be worth that amount of money.
So your collection as it is today, then, do you have a favourite piece? Is the one item out of your collection that is it the one that you think I'm glad I've got that, or that's my favourite one, or one that you just, if you sat with your collection, that's the one that you pick up and you're always like messing about with it or something?
Oh, there's a few. There's a few. I mean, I love them all, but I always get drawn to Victory Leo. Prime again.
Hmm.
But I've also had a big draw to Cup, G1 Cup. I don't know why. I loved him as a kid.
Yeah.
Because he was like a granddad figure or
Yeah.
a dad figure. And
I'm
he's
keeping
just-
my mouth shut because on Russ's live stream other night,
it's just I was there.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know what I just wanted that figure, and I just like it. You know, he's got strange little arms,
yeah,
no leg articulation, but I think it's a cracking face sculpt.
Yeah.
It's not too bad of a robot figure, and I did like the pickup, sort of futuristic pickup car,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he was just because he was in the movie.
Hmm.
That was it.
Right.
I thought he was a bit of an hero, and he was also like a sort of Ironhide replacement, wasn't he? When the Grouchy one left, there another one came aboard, and
Yeah.
that's why I had the attachment to Cup.
Yeah. Oh, the character of Cup, I do like the character of Cup. You know, in the movie, and not so much because I didn't see much of the third season of the cartoon, but and then I remember in the Marvel comic there was a really interesting story that the name of the story slips in my mind, but I always remember the first page and it's Cup sat in a chair on his own in a shuttlecraft, and he's basically just taking himself off to just die, basically.
Yeah, he's got his head in his hands.
Yeah, and
Yes.
and then he ends up going on an adventure, and it kind of like revitalizes him. And I remember even as a kid thinking, you know, that's a bit dark, is that? You know, it's, but no, I mean, I know I mentioned that I'm not a fan of the toy. It's all right. I can see why people would like it, but I can remember the first time I picked up a complete one. I remember looking at it thinking to myself, it looked like, or it felt like there was something missing off it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like the back isn't finished.
Yeah, there's the back, but also the front where his arms fold. Look, I'm doing the arm thing here.
Oh yeah,
I'll just fall off my chair in a minute because I'm trying to transform. You know, but where the arms fold up at the front, you know, because there's that bit of a gap.
Yeah.
But I always remember thinking, you know, that I mean, I do have him. I have him in the reissue. You know, the box, the Transformers collection, where it comes with Wheelie, which is another one that I don't like Wheelie either.
He's not that bad. He's not that bad.
Yeah. Ollie, X-Transbots Ollie is on my list to get. You know, it's yeah. But yeah, no. That's good. Is that? So your collection's growing. Then you're sticking to G1. Have you any? Is there any gaps at the moment that you're aiming to fill?
I still haven't got an original Optimus Prime.
Right.
So that's a big gap. And things like Thundercracker.
Yeah.
I'm missing. You know, there's things like that. Yeah. So there's still a few gaps. And Prowl. I haven't got a Prowl.
No.
And I recently picked up Trailbreaker for like £4.
Yeah.
In a shop, sold as a junker, and I thought that's not a junker.
Right.
That's complete. That is. So that was a stroke of luck.
Yeah.
That was. You very rarely do you find anything G1 in the wild, you know, like that. And I was like, right, yeah.
You got that. So the Optimus Prime side of it, is that something you consider maybe picking up a KO one until you can replace it with an original?
I've actually got a KO. Yeah, I've got the commemorative one that was back in the early 2000s, and I picked up a KO, which was a nightmare to get because I got duped twice by sellers from China, and I eventually got him. I'm actually mates with him now on eBay, and I did get one. and it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know it's a KO, but it's a very, very good KO.
Yeah.
There's a couple of little things you can tell. The stickers mainly.
Yeah.
And there's a few like errors on the box, and it does fill a gap. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it looks great on the display, but it ain't the same.
No, it isn't. No, I do appreciate that, but I think, I mean, I know we've had this discussion before about the whole KO thing, and I think for people that don't want to spend the money and are looking to just have a little something that they remember from the childhood, if it's just a one-off, I think they're great. They're great for that. And I don't have an issue with them. Other than if someone tries to sell them as legit.
That's the area which I don't like. I mean, if you like your wife who didn't know anything about Transformers saw it on eBay and said, "Oh, that's good, I'll get that for him." That's a genuine swoop.
Yeah.
And got sold it at a stupid price, and then you go, "Baby, it's a KO."
Yeah.
And that happens. That's where it's wrong. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've got a KO swoop. It's an amazing toy.
Yeah, they have got a lot better of the KOs.
I mean, I remember a website. I don't know if you remember. It used to be called iOffer.
Yeah.
And they sold those KOs about 15 years ago, and they were rubbish. They were terrible. And I waited a long time to get another one. And I had Grimlock was the first KO, and I thought, here we go. I thought it was going to say Bomanda on the front, but they'd even corrected that now.
Right. Yeah.
It says Commander. And I was like, okay, box is okay. I can tell it's a KO box. It's really glossy, but still looks good. But when I got the toy out, it's Grimlock.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done a few box comparisons with Russ on his channel when I had him like Hound and Wheeljack and things like that. And we put a box next to his original ones.
Yeah.
And we said ourselves, it's quite scary how good they're getting. As long as you know to KO, I can't see a problem. But as what we've said, once they start selling them as a KO, and you see them on eBay, I saw an Optimus Prime. He put genuine vintage Optimus Prime from 1984. I could see clear as a bell that it was a KO. Yeah. And some bloke had spent like 120 quid on it.
Yeah.
For a 40 quid with all in shipped from China. Yeah.
No, it's not good. That's the side of it that's not right. I mean, I have a couple. I have a couple on my shelf filling the space till I get round to getting the originals. But I mean, I'm super picky, so I'll probably never get the ones that I need to fill the shelf. I have the KO Grimlock, but mine is the one that says Bomanda, so I need to try and swap that out. I might have to. I know Showzi's doing a run on them at the moment with the KO Dinobots, so I might have to look into that. Though,
I mean, some people buy them just for the bubble. It's cheaper to do that to get the bubble and to get some spare chrome weapons.
Yeah.
Wheeljack's wings for a start.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's I don't see an issue with that. I mean, I used to be on a few of the Star Wars toy groups, and I ended up leaving because they were. I mean, I don't want to generalize, but there were quite a few on there that were really super hostile to that kind of thing. To the point where they would either kick you from the group or they would not allow you to go in the group if you used reproduction weapons or a reproduction cape or something like that. But I mean, who's anybody to tell anybody how they collect or what they collect?
It's your collection, and as long as, like we've said, you're not selling them to someone, without saying. I mean, some of those weapons with the Dinobots, I could sell that to you, and I don't think you'd ever know that it was a knockoff weapon.
No, they are good.
I don't think you would. Some there are. I'm not saying they're all there's some differences on some of them, but I've done my research in them, and you can't tell.
No.
Once a knockoff comes out of the box, it's very hard to tell that it's a knockoff. Especially what some people do is they put Toyac stickers on them.
Yeah.
Because a dead giveaway on some of them is the stickers. They come off, they unpeel, and they look a bit,
Yeah.
But you put some Toyac stickers on, and say I've restored it, and it's very hard to tell.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. You're right. So you've got your gaps. You're looking to replace stuff. Amongst all that, is there a, again, I'll say I'm not over keen on the term, but I do keep using it. But is there a grail or a goal item? Is that one particular piece that you would like on your shelf, but you either you haven't got it, or it's just a bit out of reach at the moment, or
yeah, there's a couple. I've been talking definitely a G1 Optimus original. That's a grail, and also the G1 Star Convoy.
Right.
That's one that I'd really like. I know it's a big plastic brick, but there's something about that toy, and that's one on my list.
Did you not pick up because they reissued that, didn't they, a few years ago?
I missed out.
Right.
Which is ironic because I got most of the encores back.
Yeah.
I've still got some, but I don't know. I didn't. I think again that was my ignorance of not caring about the Japanese Transformers.
Yeah.
I was like, well, Star Convoy, looks a bit rubbish.
Yeah.
And I probably didn't buy it for that reason. Years later, I think great. He was a great toy, great character. I wish I'd pulled the trigger on him.
Yeah, I mean, I passed on it because it didn't fall into that remit of what I collected.
Yeah.
It's a fine looking figure, but it just wasn't, and much like the others that you mentioned earlier, like Victory Leo and Star Saber, and they're just not. It's just not a draw for me. I did have a Star Side, the Takara Masterpiece Star Saber, and it was a gorgeous figure. It was really nice. I loved the little, is it Brain Masters they call them?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then went into the other one, and then it went into that, and
Yeah.
and it were great, and I liked it. But once I'd done some photos of it, and I think I kept it for a few months, and then I let it go. Let it go into the wild because it didn't fall in that remit.
Yeah.
But no, I hope you come across them at some point. It's always, I think it's always nice when you get that thing that you've wanted, or you finish a particular part of your collection. So just, I mean, I know it's it's an occupational hazard, because we all end up, because being Transformers collectors, you all end up talking about Transformers and that. But is there any other interests, like pursuits, hobbies, or something that's maybe not directly linked to Transformers, but you could say fall within that collector's part of yourself?
Not really. No, I mean, I do. That I do me drawings and illustrations, which is what I did years ago as a kid, and it's what I do as a job, as an artist. So, yeah, I mean, I learned a lot drawing Transformers, like proportions of figures, through. I mean, I literally just used to get the comic and copy it myself.
Right.
So I used to just, especially Jeff Senior, his work, and Will Simpson's. I used to just get the comic and just copy it with a black biro, do the boxes, and just copy the entire thing.
Right. Yeah.
And spend hours doing that, and have the toys out around me, and just draw the comics. I've still got some somewhere in the loft. Some of me.
Right.
And I even dated them like 86, 87, something like that. That's a hobby and interest in my job linked back. to the toys.
Yeah, you'll have to get them up on Instagram.
I'll try and find them. They're in
Yeah.
within books and folders, and a lot of my toys are.
Yeah. That's cool. So we're almost at the end, Simon. It's gone quite quick as that. So this is the part now where I'll hand it to you for a minute or two if you want, and you can pimp yourself. Just tell people about your Instagram and your social medias and where they can find you.
Yeah, well, you can find me on Transformers_UK __ collector on Instagram, or just Transformers UK collector. If you type it, I'm just there. Same as my YouTube channel. Just type in Transformers UK collector. I do a couple of reviews on there. It's mainly shorts. Because I don't have time. I've got 2 kids, so I just have to try and cram it in when I can. So yeah, that's the 2. And I'm also on TikTok as well, Transformers UK collector, where I basically just put the same stuff I do on YouTube, but on TikTok, that's where the kids hang out. So
yeah,
that's trendy. So, but yeah, that's the 3 platforms I use. So I'm on there if you want to find me.
Yeah. No, I've not got to TikTok yet. My daughter keeps mentioning it, but I'm like, oh no, I don't know. At the moment you don't need to, because TikTok seems to be on Instagram a lot, in the reels and things. So, but no, I haven't got to that bit. I haven't got there yet. I probably won't. I feel a bit too old, I think. I don't know.
Nah, you're never too old.
I don't even do Twitter.
No, I don't do Twitter.
I don't do Twitter. I do have a Twitter account, but it's not. It doesn't get touched or used for anything Transformer wise. I just usually go on there and just laugh at the village idiots. That's a whole different conversation. Well, Simon, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. I know you're busy, and I know your time's precious to you, but I appreciate you taking time out to have a chat with me and do this thing. And just thank you. Take care, and hopefully we do a live stream, aren't we? We haven't done one for a while.
Yeah, we'll arrange that. We'll do one for next week or something, and catch up and just talk normally what we normally talk about. Yeah.
Maybe talk about some of the other stuff, because there was a couple. In fact, just briefly mention when I was talking to Graham depending on which order that I release them in, it's either the one that comes before you or the one that comes after you. We mentioned a couple of topics that we felt we could probably get a good, whether it's a live stream or a pre-recorded out, a good chat, So I'll send you some details, see what you think. It might be of interest. We don't know, but anyway, thank you very much, Simon. All the best. You take care, sir.
Thank you, Ed, and see you all later.
Yep. Cheers. Go on.
Thank you for accessing the Collector's Archive. To enable return access, please select the like, subscribe, and notification icons. Transmission terminated.